Meanwhile, while we wait for the presentation, if it is available, I think I've met and talked with the majority of you, but I'm Gaia Guadagnini. I'm originally from Italy. Today, I'm going to wear the hat of the climate delegate from the Young Ambassador Society. Our president, Alberta Pelino, couldn't be here today, but she's the ideator of this NGO that I will talk about in a moment. I'm originally from Italy, as I said, but it's 10 years that I haven't lived here. And this NGO precisely brought me back to here with the hope that I could still contribute. I have an energy background. I am now based in the UK to develop this background further and understand what is its interaction with climate change and justice. So, a little bit of background on the Young Ambassador Society. It's a non-profit organization that manages the youth engagement group of the G7 and G20 processes. So for who doesn't know, engagement groups of the G7 and G20 processes are the mean and the tool to engage civil society, whether this is like think tank, whether it's like youth, whether it's like women, in these diplomatic processes. And this is how the Young Ambassador Society was ideated. However, since its origin, it expanded a lot. We reached out over 1 million of youth. 20,000 young ambassadors have been sent across our activities, and we have collaborations with over 40 UN agencies, Italian ministries, universities, and companies. And we are very proud to say that almost 60% of us are women with STEM background, but also social sciences and economics. And I think this is precisely the idea of YAS, to demonstrate that diplomatic activities are first of all inclusive, and that participation lay its foundation in sound preparation, whether this is on energy, climate, AI, you name it. So in few words, YAS' main purpose is to look towards 2030 and give voice to innovative ideas of the younger generation, and to turn these ideas into policies. So to create a real space for youth to directly discuss with policymakers. As I said, since 2011, its foundation we have grew and developed. So now we are sending youth not only in the Y7 and Y20 summits, but also in local events with local policymakers, ministries, and other youth and schools at the local level. Conferences of the parties as well, World Food Forum, the ECOSOC conferences, and so on. I think I came here and I joined YAS as the Y7 delegate for the energy and climate. And what really blew my mind is how important is training and education, and not a theoretical and high-level training and education, but one that, okay, so we will just skip very quickly, but one that is rooted into technical preparation, content, as well as leadership, diplomacy, cultural differences, empathy. So this is a bit of the process that you see in an example of a Y7 final communique, but it could be any other documents that youth work on. You start from months of negotiations, you meet online, then you meet in presence, and then you hand it over to a policymaker, not knowing precisely where it will go, and this is where it's so important, precise and technical background to communicate new innovative ideas correctly. And this is just, you can see in the slide, few examples of technical proposals that we had, where we mention statistics and deadlines, and this is the result of hours and hours of negotiations where people come from different backgrounds and cannot agree on the same numbering. So I think what YAS tries to do, and this is also my call to action, which will slightly change from what is up there, it's not only an education for every youth that turns them not into workers, followers, and listeners, but active participants. It's also an intergenerational education, a co-education, one where youth can observe, listen, and ask about the failures of the older generations, established institution and experienced policymaker, so that we can intentionally fill those gaps and those things that are still to be improved. So rather than distinguishing again about ages, about races, between genders, let's focus on one divisive factor only, the willingness to collaborate, co-create, co-evolve. This willingness doesn't have age, color, or sex. And for those who are not willing to collaborate and are resisting change, we push harder. We don't turn our backs. So we study more, we prepare ourselves more, we get technical, even if we are young and unexperienced, to demonstrate them they were wrong about choosing armaments over books, fast mass media over democratic and educated participation processes, and cheap polluting energy over clean and forward-looking renewables technologies. So thank you, Laura, who just disappeared, but a couple of other people mentioned this before. Thank you for bringing up the topic of therapy. I myself challenge my therapist a lot. In my case, it's more complaining about the mistakes of others, which I might think a little while about. Mistake of my parents, of my grandparents, and the impact that they have on me. The things that they did not understand, and therefore that I feel I cannot change. And she always gives me this annoying exercise of writing them letters without never sending to them, but keeping them for myself to remind me why I wake up in the morning, to reflect internally on what fights I want to fight, on which changes I want to drive my energy to, and what mistakes I consciously don't want to repeat. This is my way towards 2030. And how can I help them to do better and to understand why we need to do better? So I encourage you to do this exercise and to go back also to what Gala asked before about innovation. We have already systemic and rooted assets that we need to change. So instead of starting from scratch, hoping that everything can be deleted, which is not possible, let's think about what we have and how we can make it better, explaining older people how to do it with us. So I think this is my call towards 2030, and I'd be happy to answer any question you might have about YAS. Thank you very much.